So I really didn't have any idea when I joined that I was gay. It wasn't until partway through my career, or the start of my career, I should say, that I actually had any inclination of that nature. But I guess I knew coming into it that that it was wrong. It was a crime. Um, I don't know why it was a crime. I don't understand that to any real extent. Um, but it was, you know. So I didn't talk about it. I didn't explore it any further. I was taken in for questioning on multiple occasions. Um, I suppose the last time they questioned me would have been I'd just gotten back from a deployment, literally right off the plane, right into the back of one of those wonderful little K cars that and off to a building that was it was on base, but it was very nondescript, and I didn't really see a lot of it. Uh, and then I was told that the investigation was classified as secret. It started me thinking, it started me wondering, very paranoid. Uh, I started seeing people that I thought I'd recognized, but they were in civilian clothes. It was off base. Um, there was always somebody there. It was a bit surreal, to be honest. Um, kind of felt like it was something out of a movie. Um, the whole process is, I and I, I'll be honest. I started dating. I found civilians off base that I would meet um, through private locations and through friends of friends, and we'd hook up. Um, when we got together, it was always very quiet, and nobody said anything. So it was living a secret at that point. There was a woman, I'll call her an ally, I guess, um, who I would go and see, and then I would meet my dates at her home. Just to maintain appearances. Um, and it was I wasn't a stupid person, but I guess they'd gotten her name from somebody. She was providing these safe spaces, um, and I was in the middle of a date, I guess you would call it. It was in the arms of another man at her home, and I found out they were MPs. They were dressed as civilians at the time. They came in. I guess they'd gotten access to the door. I'm not sure entirely how. But they came in, and it was very sudden. And they just literally, burst through the door and burst into the room that I was in, and found me with the man. They held me for a period of time. I think it was probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 2 days in this room. Um, and I know other people have described the room, and it was like this room existed out of time and space because every single room was the exact same. You know, the desk, the chairs, the light bulb hanging from the ceiling. It was straight out of the movies. I came to the realization that my career was over and that was it. I didn't really care about it. And I'll be damned if I was gonna ruin somebody else's life. There was no way. I mean, these are people that I knew personally, people that I had trusted, um, and there was no way I was gonna ruin their lives just to get some leniency, which was fictitious in the first place. we had a formal occasion coming up, and so we all went out on parade, uh, all the dignitaries and everything else. And then partway through the parade, uh, I see an MP car pull up on the parade square, and two MPs got out. They walked across the parade square directly to us while we were on parade, um, and they announced quite loudly that I was being charged, what I was being charged with, and then they put me in handcuffs in the back of the car. It was very intentional that they chose that opportunity to do it. I think it was maybe they were angry, maybe they had a resentment over the fact that they hadn't managed to get me to cooperate. I'm not sure what the motivation was. They wanted to make it a public, and they did that quite effectively. And that was the last time I saw those men, the men that I served with. For people that don't know, it was Canadian Forces Penitentiary in Edmonton, and I spent just shy of 60 days there. Edmonton wasn't a pleasant place. It wasn't a healthy place for anybody. People were treated like property of the crown. We were expected to maintain our cell and our belongings, our equipment, such, in pristine condition. There were people that were put on bread and water rationing, because that was still allowed in the penitentiary. So yeah, there was a lot of that. There was a lot of physical abuse. Guards would come in and they'd drag somebody out. The person would come back and they'd have marks and bruises. So there was a lot of that. I don't think I was the only gay man there, but I didn't have communication with anybody else. I kept isolated. We all kept pretty much isolated from each other. So as the process went, at the end of my 60 days, I broke. I couldn't take it anymore. We were expected to shave and maintain our condition, and we were given the appropriate equipment to do so. And it was a disposable safety razor, and brush and combs and stuff like that to look proper, orderly. So we used to get a bit of time individually in a larger room, a little bit of personal time. This would take turns, and we were kept separate. This room was quiet, and I'd taken my shaving kit and I'd smuggled my razor and my comb out, and broke my razor open, and I decided that I couldn't live with disgrace. I knew I was going to get a dishonorable discharge. I decided that I was going to take a different way. So I took the razor and tried to end my life. The MPs came in, they found me. They found me, I was a bit of a mess. Still have the scars on my arm from where I tried to slash my wrists. I had a bit of an understanding of medical, and I knew that rather than cutting across the veins, if I cut the length of the vein, it would be harder to stop the bleeding. So the guards got me, and I went up into the infirmary and bandaged up. And then after that, they sent me to the base hospital in Halifax for a psychiatric evaluation. After my release, I was discharged dishonorably, but I guess they wanted to kind of reinforce that I was mentally unfit for a backup plan. I know there was other people that were considered mentally unfit because of their sexual orientation, but I just gave them more ammunition than because I did try and kill myself. So I had a period of time, a couple of years, where I couldn't work legitimately, couldn't rent a place to live. So I didn't have any connections with anybody. My family didn't want anything to do with me at that point. Military had no interest in getting involved. And there wasn't a lot of options for me, so I did some stuff. I did a lot of things that I'm not particularly proud of. It was something that would get me money. I got involved in drugs and alcohol because when I drank or did drugs, I didn't feel anything. I met someone in 23 years ago now. Same person I'm with to this day, the man I love, and he stood by me through all of the ins and outs, through the worst of my drinking. I don't call myself a victim anymore. I call myself a survivor. Because I survived this. I've moved forward in my life. My life has gotten better. And for anybody else out there that's struggling like I am, reach out. Get the help. You deserve it. Your life can get better too. I took an oath, and I hold that oath very dearly. If my country was ever under threat, I'd be on that line. If there was ever a war or conflict and they needed me, reasonably good marksman. And they needed my skills or my abilities, I'd be there in a heartbeat. There's no question about it.